Still days away from the blessed end of this election, and headlines are freaking people out, warning of an impending Trumpocalypse and concerns at the start of the week that early voting numbers for African Americans were falling short of their levels in 2012. But hold up for just a moment. Before we start opining that if Hillary Clinton were to lose, which folks is not likely, that she would have black voters to blame. And let's think about this year's MTV Video Music Awards, when Britney Spears staged her highly anticipated comeback. Now, it was a perfectly competent and well-choreographed performance where Miss Britney delighted fans with a return to her former glory. And yet, it came nowhere close to being the most talked about performance of the night. Why? Because Britney had to follow this. 16 straight minutes of Beyonce's hot, fiery, lemonade-flavored black girl magic.
Yes.
Now, much like Britney Spears, who was at the mercy of MTV's cruel producers, Hillary Clinton doesn't fully control her timing on the historical program. The reality is, it should be no surprise that after President Obama got African-American voters into formation with record turnout in 2008 and 2012 as the first black president, Hillary Clinton is more like, look at you singing all Hit Me Baby One More Time, so special. And joining me now is Democratic strategist Karine Jean-Pierre, MSNBC contributor to Reid, Jason Johnson, politics editor for TheRoot.com, and Rick Wade, former senior advisor to the Obama campaign. Oh, look at you, hit me baby one more time. You're so sweet. You're not cute, say no, but you're so cute. You're cute. Reid's laughing at me. Somebody come over. I mean, isn't it true? I mean, literally, Hillary Clinton is the Britney Spears to Barack Obama's Beyonce. That's just real.
Yeah, no, I remember that moment and thinking that Britney needs to fire her manager to have her right ahead of Beyonce and the whole Beyonce palooza that became. Look, you know, I would be shocked if black voters didn't step up in a bigger way, in a big league way, because we are facing what is clearly the most overtly racist candidate that we have ever seen in our lifetime. Somebody who makes no bones about talking about that. But if this does not, God forbid, this does not go Hillary's way, and America ends as we watch, this will not be black voters' fault. This will be the fault of Republican voters who supported Trump, who the crazy Republican primary audience got behind him. The rest of them came home instead of saying, we need to put country ahead of party. This is a different election, as Hillary's been arguing. This will be the fault of Republican voters who have put other things ahead of what is best for the country. That is the problem.
And Jason, you wrote a piece for The Root that said exactly this thing. Don't start pre-blaming black America for this potential, problem with black voting. Explain your premise, sir.
Right. Well, first off, it's, I love the Britney Spears Beyonce comparison.
Yes.
I also say it's like, look, you don't have to be Michael Jordan. You can still be LeBron, right? I mean, like, Hillary Clinton is not going to hit Barack Obama levels of black turnout, but she doesn't have to. She just has to do better than John Kerry. What a lot of people don't remember, because this is the reverse of this, is the reason Obama had to do so well with black folk is because white people weren't going to vote for him. Right. He won re-election in 2012 with only 38% of the white vote. That's not going to happen for Hillary Clinton. So even if there's a slight dip in black voter turnout, and it probably won't be huge. Black turnout has been increasing every year since 1984. She'll probably make up for it with a number of white voters, specifically white women, who are going to come out and vote for her.
Yeah, absolutely. And Karine, I want to go through just a few of the stats that sort of debunk this idea that black voters are the ones failing the country on this Trump thing. So you have, first of all, the African American Research Collaborative did a poll where they talked about the voting rates and projections. Okay, black people who have already voted in the election nationwide, 22% have already voted. In Georgia, 45%. In Nevada, 47%. Black people who haven't voted but are highly likely. Look at these incredible numbers. 86% nationwide, 88% in Georgia, 85% in Nevada, 91% in Pennsylvania. I don't think we won't do it. Black women voted at 72%. Right. Let's go to the next set of data here. And this is the enthusiasm, the poll by the same group, enthusiasm of voting 2016 versus 2012. You can see enthusiasm was much higher in 2012. However, when you ask what is the importance of the vote, that chart flips the other way around. So if you look at that, the chart is actually reversed, that people believe it's much more important to vote this year. So black people may not be, there you go, that's the reverse chart. So black people may not be, Beyonce levels of lemonade, but they're definitely like, Britney, right?
Yeah, I think, look, I think, coming from the campaign side of this stuff, I think the ground game is going to make this happen, right? I think black voters understand the importance of this election, and they will. We still have 3 more days, right? And I think they will absolutely come out to vote. Look, and the fact that we're blaming blaming black people for the numbers right now. We should be looking at Republicans, right? Republicans have systematically tried to take away the voting rights of African Americans, of people of color, and we see that with these voter suppression laws. So I think they need to look in the mirror, whoever the Republicans who are out there saying, oh yeah, you know what, black folks are not coming out to vote, and that just is not the case.
Well, let me get Rick Wade in here, because I want to get some counterpoint in here, Rick, because you and I have this conversation all the time. That on the other hand, it is the Democrats' job to get the African American vote out, not just with the mechanics of voter turnout, but also with presenting a case that compels black voters. Make your case, sir.
Well, you're absolutely right. And let me make one point, Joy. In 2008, there was a big differential, what I call the IQ, the inspiration quotient. The inspiration quotient was vastly different when Barack Obama ran. And so I think we got to be kind of clear in comparing Hillary Clinton and Barack. She is not Barack Obama. The inspiration is different this time around because of the historical nature of that 2008 election. Now, the other part that I think is critical, and I just left 4 battleground states, Pennsylvania, Ohio, North Carolina, and Florida. One of the things that I'm hearing more than anything is that black voters want to know that their vote investment counts. They want to know the policy benefits. They want a return on their votes. And it's particularly in the area of economic. We talk about pain in the Rust Belt. We talk about the pain in the middle class, but there's pain in the black community. There's pain in the black belt. Black people want to know that they're going to be jobs coming. They want to know that there's investment in our communities, not just from government, but from private sector. They want to know that they can buy and afford homes. You know, what's interesting about that is that Hillary Clinton has one of the most comprehensive economic revitalization plans I've ever seen. And I've worked on 3 presidential campaigns. The reality is that a lot of people don't know about it. So I think at the end of the day, African Americans are going to vote. I'm not concerned about this blame game. Despite early vote numbers, we're coming to the polls on Tuesday. The concern I have is, will we stay in line? And I'm seeing people, elderly and others, even young millennials, who are just witnessing this line issue, and they're leaving. And we can't afford to leave. We got to stay in line, and we got to vote. We're coming out. We're going to turn out.
And Reid, you were out here.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I remember that in 2012, like where people we had to really reach out to folks and say, stay online, because especially in Florida in particular, and it was, there were long lines, and it was not easy to get through those lines. So it was really encouraging them, and I would have to say I would be concerned about that this time.
But Karine, the point you started to make before was really important. What impact is voter ID, voter rights suppression, these sorts of things having on what's going on? And maybe we won't find out until Ari Berman comes around afterward and explains, like, this, North Carolina cost 200,000 votes or whatever it is. But, I mean, Donald Trump has been saying, go out and suppress the vote in certain areas, right?
Yeah,
we know
Philly, Chicago, that's what he's been saying.
Pre-clearance is not happening. So, I mean, the government, in some ways, has left us alone, right, not protecting our votes. So that is an important part of this.
But, Jason, I want to not miss what Rick said about the other underlying issue, which is there something compelling you to stay in line that is policy-based on the part of the Clinton campaign? And you were nodding when Rick said that.
Right, because here's the thing. A lot of this campaign, let's be honest here, a lot of people don't like Hillary Clinton, and a lot of people don't like Donald Trump. And the concern about Hillary Clinton, if you're really fair and objective, for a lot of people, a lot of African-American voters, has been they don't know that she's necessarily going to be empathetic enough. So I think when we talk about, well, is there going to be a policy thing or a policy thing, that doesn't matter as much, because I don't think anyone necessarily believes that our material benefits in life are going to change all that better under a Hillary Clinton administration. But what black people do know is it will get worse, apocalyptically worse, under a Trump administration. And this may be, I can say this as a political scientist, this may be the first election in American history where somebody wins by people voting against the other guy. Because I know black folk who are more scared than enthusiastic.
Well, let me ask you about that, Rick, because you just said on the other side that Hillary Clinton has this comprehensive plan that is actually proactively good for African Americans. Do you agree with Jason Johnson that there is no pro-Clinton sentiment among African Americans?
No, I think there's a lot of pro-sentiment among African Americans. But people want tangible benefits. I've seen this all over the country, and it's something I'm very passionate about. They want to know that their lives are going to get better. They want to know, listen, folks are trying to pay their power bill, their water bill, their electric bill, their child care. It goes on and on and on. The recovery for African Americans has been very slow, and to a lot of communities, there's been no recovery. They want to know that their lives are going to be better under Secretary Clinton. The other thing that I'm hearing, Joy, is accountability. I mean, I talked to a lot of music executives, and, you know, when Barack Obama ran in 2008, we had so many artists and entertainers involved in this campaign. And one of the things that they're telling me is they want accountability. They want to know at the end of the day, if we stand with Secretary Hillary Clinton, which we will, is she going to stand with us?
Yeah.
And they want to know a tangible indication that that's going to happen.
Very quickly,
I appreciate Rick talking about economic issues, but you can't pay your bills if you are dead or if you're dealing with trauma because your son is dead. Only one candidate is talking about systemic racism in regard to the policing violence crisis. Only one candidate is meeting with DeRay and Black Lives Matter. Those are incredibly important issues for black people that we should say, hey, this is a candidate who's clearly supporting us on one of the biggest problems we have in America.
Absolutely. All right, we're gonna bring well, Karine and DeRay are gonna come back. Unfortunately, we are out of time. Jason's gonna come back as well. Thank you very much, Rick Wade. Appreciate it. We're gonna have to have you guys all back.